was just thinking a few days ago, the power that I have in this little device here. If I wanted, I could connect with probably at any given time anybody on Earth through some form, messenger or email or Twitter or whatever. I could even connect to the International Space Station if things were connected up appropriately. People in ancient cultures didn't have access to communication devices like this, but they did have their ways of communicating a message. This was one of them. This is a cenotaph. In the early Greek, a cenotaph meant empty tomb. When men would go off to fight battles in foreign countries, the Greeks would like to remember them. And so when at home, they would put up cenotaphs like this, and perhaps there were inscriptions on them, because even during those times, they wanted to remember. It's not necessarily the dead too that people erect stones to remember them. There's other things where you would see standing stones around the world as well. It may be a covenant, or it may be a treaty, or it may be some significant event that might have happened. In the Old Testament, there's the story of the Israelites who spend 400 years in bondage, and then they move out into the desert for 40 years, led by Moses. And then there comes a time when they're about to enter the promised land, led by Joshua. And there's an obstacle in the way. It's the Jordan River, and it's at flood stage. And how are they going to get across the Jordan River to get into the promised land? And it's there that God does the miraculous, that God stops the waters, and the Israelite nation is able to travel across the dry riverbed. Joshua instructs some of the people as they cross the riverbed to pick up some stones, and that's what they do. And when they get on the other side, they build a mound out of these stones. It's not no inscriptions or anything like that, but in future times, when people travel that way, a little boy might say to his father, "Father, why are those stones there?" And then the story would be told again of the miraculous things that God had done. In some ways, the headstones in our cemeteries are also those standing stones. They're there because we want to remember someone special who has passed this way. You know, whether it's a headstone or a pile of stones or a cenotaph like this, they all scream out the same message: remember, remember, remember. We won't be this year gathering at sites like this to commemorate those who have paid the supreme sacrifice. We won't be doing that this year. But nonetheless, this monument stands here every day on days like this, windy and blustery and sometimes cold, and it still shouts out the same message: remember, remember, remember. Peter reminds us in his writings in the Bible that we too are standing stones in our culture, that we're called to fight for justice, to resist evil, and if it's all possible, to live at peace with everyone. And I think by doing those things, by living out that call, that in a way we honor those who have paid that supreme sacrifice. Today and every day, we're called to remember them. We shall remember them.